Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by our own Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and across the internet for me is...
I am Roddy John.
On today's show, we talk with Ladi and Kayla from Igimeji about how the project started, their favorite moments together, and what's to come in the future.
We also speak with Shane Taylor about this Saturday's Pele Pro Wrestling show, Judges, which is happening at Grace Prep. Again, this Saturday over at Grace Prep, go see Pele Pro Wrestling's Judges. I'll obviously be there. Dare Bear, are you going to be there?
I will not be there. I have to go pick up my kid in East Texas and do like a family 4th of July. But you should go because it is a great place to watch pro wrestling and it's going to be a great show.
It's true. We also talked to him about his thoughts on wrestling here in Texas and what it was like working Madison Square Garden.
The biggest of venues, the king of the mountain, so to speak, in combat sports.
The greatest, the most famous arena in the world. It's, I've been there. I was there when he was working it, for that show, and I had to bring it up because it was so much fun. And you hear a little bit more about my thoughts on it, and then obviously his thoughts from actually working it. So, also a little fun fact, you get to hear how he really became, or the thought got and said, I want to be a pro wrestler. And it has to do with Texas Tornado and the Warlord. A weird combination. The story is great though. So.
Well, those are all great, professional wrestlers. So, stick around and check it out.
We are here with Ladi and Kayla with Igimeji. How are y'all today?
Awesome. We're doing
Doing great.
Yeah.
Gig to gig.
Yeah, we happen to catch you in between gigs, which is nice.
We were talking about how you were going to go to 7 band practices after.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would walk into my garage, the chef would be like, hey, June 12th or something.
Right.
You down? And then half the band's already there practicing, and I'm like,
I guess.
I'm already here.
Right.
You're already in my house.
Yeah, you're in my home.
they hijacked my practice and they incorporate me into it. How dare they?
Happens a lot.
Now, as we're recording this, unfortunately, you guys got rained out of Levitt last night.
Yes.
But I thought you guys would be done, but you weren't. You then played with Chef D over at Caves.
Yeah, I then went over and played a gig at 12 midnight.
Yeah.
12 midnight.
For Chef D at Caves Lounge right here in the heart of Arlington. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I felt horrible for you guys because, you know, the sound check sounded great. You guys were about to kill it live.
You're ready.
Yeah. But they'll reschedule you guys, so it's going to be great.
Hopefully sometime in September we'll be back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I imagine the fall is, because I think spring is all booked up. Spring, summer's all booked.
And
So.
I'd imagine like everything's already set in motion, so they can't just like shift everything.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, how did Igimeji start?
Like, how did the project
Yeah, how did the whole
going?
project start?
Honestly, it kind of started naturally. I think we didn't officially start together until we were both in Kathmandu.
Okay.
But before then, we were already playing with each other and trying to like figure out like writing a song together and making that happen. But we didn't write our first song together officially that I liked until Kathmandu. It didn't pass the vibe check until then.
Yeah.
And
we didn't start like performing and like crafting those and choosing the covers and stuff until Kathmandu, Nepal.
Right.
So I'd gone there to be a teacher. Life had other plans for me. I stopped teaching immediately and basically became an artist, and she was there with me. So we just kind of started doing it. And shout out to Booze Belly. It was one of the first places we ever performed. That and Southern Comfort before that.
Oh, wow.
Southern Comfort.
in Nepal.
Yeah, in Nepal. People love music and like covers over there. Like it's a very vibrant, like active people who love live music all the time.
So you guys just did a bunch of covers before.
We did some covers. We tested out our original stuff. People really like prefer the old like classic rock stuff.
Right.
They
That's
do.
what people like rock from the 80s, 90s, maybe some 70s.
Cool.
There's this Nepali band called Albatross.
Yes.
That people lose their minds over.
Really?
They're basically like what did you say? They were like 311 or like who were they? Who did we
No.
say they were like?
They're like the Nepali Creed. They're like Nepali Nickelback. To me, that's what they sound like.
Creed, not Creed. Like
No.
Okay, who sings that? Wish you would step back from that ledge.
Oh, Third Eye Blind.
Right. Okay, they're like the Nepali Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
They're like
Creed?
No?
Creed?
Wow. Third Eye Blind's first album's amazing.
You
I'm
gotta
just gonna say
struggle
that.
to understand Creed. That's the spoken voice. That's unique.
Here in America, those are fighting words. If you say you're a Creed fan, you might as well say you're a Nickelback fan also.
You know what?
Yeah.
Polarizing.
It's one of the same, basically.
Yeah. Like if somebody were to tell you, "Oh yeah, my favorite bands are like Creed,
And
Nickelback."
you're like, cool, you're in a Nickelback, you're in a puddle of mud.
Right.
Mud.
They say
Limp
Creed and
Bizkit,
Nickelback.
Right. We're like, good. I will never get in your car and listen to anything you're doing.
Never
I got
having
the aux
aux.
cord on that one, okay?
Right. Yeah.
You get in the car, the first song that plays is Photograph from Nickelback.
Oh no.
This is
I
gonna be
still
a bad
remember
Yeah.
all the words to that song. We were all cringe back then. We all like Nickelback. I'm tired of lying about it.
Yeah.
Let's just be open and say we all like Nickelback and
Why
get
do you
forward.
say that? Oh,
Well, I know what
Tired of the slander.
I know what you guys are playing at the next show.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
It's nothing but Nickelback and Creed.
Yeah.
no.
Start it with Photograph. Yeah.
You know what's better
You
than
have
one
to kick it
Nickelback cover? Two
None.
Nickelback.
No Nickelback covers. That's what's better than one. None.
Fine. Cover Creed instead.
No.
Well, I heard you playing at the soundcheck Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix. And
Yeah, it's just fun.
Oh, it
just
is,
like
yeah.
a fun one on the fret. I always get stuck after like the other. I don't know what he's doing after that point.
Oh.
But it's just like I am trying to like finally connect my playing with music theory. That I've been like taking it TCC Southeast Campus. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Very
And
awesome.
Theory 2, which is cool. I understand like modulation and secondary dominance. That's nice.
There you go.
Do you find that you were doing some of these things before, but now you have like
Yes.
like you know what you're
cognitive.
doing?
Yes. And even then, there's still a fear to like finally bridge it and say, oh yeah, I'm playing a 1,
Right.
4, 5, a 1, a 7, and a 1 again. Like I'm still, my mind is still like the motions, the shapes, the flow. And then every now and then when like I'm in the right moment, I'm like, oh, I see why Marcus keeps saying we're doing this, and it's because we're doing this.
Or why Kayla keeps saying that
Mhm.
you modulated and changed the key.
And I'm
And
like,
how
no,
this
it's all
chord
in the
doesn't-
same key.
Sure it is.
That's
Completely
me.
wrong.
I'm a total punk rock musician. Like I never did theory. I taught myself how to play drums and guitar. So like when I play with real musicians and they say stuff like that, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you play it one? Just let me
Yeah,
play
yeah,
it
yeah.
one
Like,
more
can
time?
you show
Yeah.
me
Hear
the
it?
fretboard real quick? See
Yeah.
what you do? Okay, thanks.
Very cool. Just find that comfortable pocket and never leave.
Yeah.
That's the true spirit of rock and roll, though.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
Fair. That's fair. That is true.
I mean, like you said, you didn't know what you were doing at doing Voodoo Child. I'm sure most of the time Jimi Hendrix didn't know what he was doing.
Like he was just like in there, like
Yeah.
you roughly know what he's playing, but I feel like some of those people, some artists, just like you have to dive in first,
Yeah.
Right.
and just kind of like splash all over the canvas, and then you can start like shaping out what you're looking for, and then it probably indefinitely follows some theory that someone's already laid out before.
Right.
As everything that we think is so different is really not.
Yeah.
Someone's done it, but like sometimes just coming to that conclusion on your own without learning theory is like a little freer, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I can.
Yeah,
see
because
that.
you, like you said, you just jump in. I'm sure, but again, when you pull back, there's somebody like dissecting. It's like, oh, well, here he's doing this, and it's like Jimmy's like, I don't know anything. It's like, I just did
Like
it.
the bass man just did a shift,
Right.
so we call it, and I'm just gonna ride that wave now.
So how long have y'all been doing this? Like, Igimeji?
Kathmandu was 2018 or 17.
I like to tag us at around, I mean, pretty much Igimeji started at the beginning of our relationship, so like around 7 years.
Wow,
6
nice.
years, yeah.
2015, 16. I was living out in Dallas at the time. And I don't even know where we can find recordings of those earlier songs that we wrote. But like, I remember those are the ones that you don't like.
Better to
But
stay
I
buried.
think back on some of them now, and it's like, what were they? If only we like recorded just like here. Maybe we could change it or
I have
something.
a really long memory, so I do remember what they sound like.
But
but-
so you just been hiding.
yes,
You've been
because
writing it for. Wow.
I like new stuff. So I'm especially now I'm in this new writing mood. So like anything old, I'm just like it's dead to me.
You're like get it out. Yeah.
Sometimes you remix the old and it's just
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, there's been a ton of remastered stuff.
Puff Daddy made a whole career of it.
It's true.
That is true.
I don't trust Puff Daddy at all.
No.
Oh,
I don't trust Puff Daddy at all.
He's the worst part about any B.I.G. song. Because he's just in the background.
You see that producer credit, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You could produce it, that's fine, don't be on it.
Outside of that, there's like, I don't know how true these are, but there's rumors, there's already like conversations, there's probably some research done about it. But Diddy apparently didn't really do right by the artists he brought into his
Oh,
label.
not at all.
Of course
No.
he did. No.
That's why Mace had to leave and go be a preacher.
Yeah,
And then he came back on his own.
Mace still I don't fuck with you till this day.
Yes, for a reason.
Speaking of Diddy, I was in a Clubhouse room once. I don't know if y'all know what Clubhouse is. It's an app where people.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it is. Sorry, can you?
Think like Instagram meets Zoom.
Almost, but it's on video call. It's like a conference video call with a bunch of people, and you don't know where everyone is.
It's audio though.
But you know it's real because you're having like a real time conversation. It's like you're on the phone with people. And when I was on Clubhouse, there were a lot more like, they're not really famous people, but they're like people who work with famous people. So I was in the room with a lot of like producers and songwriters and stuff. Somehow we got on the topic of Diddy, and literally this man, I'm not gonna say what his name was or like
Here's the
who
tea.
he worked for, but oh my god, he was like literally there is like a lot of really messed up energy around Diddy. Like you notice how people always become religious after they leave, or they just want nothing to do with him after they leave. Bad boy. Yeah. So it's just like I didn't even think about that before. It was just like there's a lot of energy around Diddy that's just not right. But.
Yeah, J. Cole had a song in which he said he had a fight with Diddy outside of a club or something, and it was like a weird moment because it was like J. Cole saying something very real.
Yeah, and he's not a negative dude either.
No.
Yeah.
But like Diddy, like there's just been like stuff that you can find on the web that says like he barely paid artists.
Yep.
The making the band thing, was that him?
Oh yeah,
that was how he just like he'd be like, I need you to go to the farthest bodega in New York for 25 miles and give me this particular sausage that's only grown there or whatever. And then we just make them do something that wasn't movie related or related at all.
You had to go, the cheesecake also. They made him walk to go get cheesecake.
That's what it was.
It's like by the time it gets back, you don't want that cheesecake.
Have you seen the Chappelle skit about
It's
like, I need the Cambodian breast milk. Something like I don't remember. That's what it was, but man, like, Diddy weird.
Yeah.
Diddy weird.
Diddy's a weird dude.
All
now,
right.
individually, for y'all, what is the best thing about this project?
You want to go first?
I like our aesthetic, and I like that what we're doing is actually genuinely different.
Right.
I feel like I am someone who like is always trying to look for that like niche or that like underbelly thing that just hasn't been done before, and I've always been like that. Like I've always wanted to be in a rock band like since I was 14.
Nice.
So this is like a really long thought out planned goal in my little Virgo head where we organize everything to perfection. And so it's just been me like really living out that goal and that dream of just like creating this. So yeah, that's the best part.
Mine is kind of on the same wave. For me, it's the stuff that we've done and just kind of seeing how tangible that is now. Starting from just like doing this by yourself and understanding that you want to do this not necessarily because it will bring fame or because it will like bring some sort of like financial help or whatever, but just like the fact that we've done it regardless of whether it was rewarding much at the time, towards seeing us do it and it being like not only like financially rewarding but like spiritually in a sense, you know?
Right.
Because it always started with getting me out of that dark place. Because Kathmandu was like, it was a wonderful experience in totality, but it was also like a rough one. So coming out of that and coming into Dallas and being able to breathe, and then just like the family of people that we've run into, the wealth of like talent and knowledge and collaborations that we've been able to tap into. For me, outside of like, of course, having my partner that I live with and like love being my music project, it's like by extension that family of all those people who like we share stage with or we share festivals with, and like people that we're able to like kind of actually have this community that know what's going on in my life outside of all the like That stuff. So I'm spiritual about it and a little bit of a hippie, but that stuff.
That sounds
Oh,
awesome.
that makes sense. I
though.
mean,
That's tangible and
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we've made a lot of new friends through this project.
Yeah, I mean, as we've done this podcast, we realized again how rich the community is, not only with artists but musicians, and it's beautiful because of the fact that there is that revitalization of art and music through this Metroplex. Like, I mean, obviously Metroplex is not getting smaller, so it's the fact there is great music coming out of it, and Arlington kind of being a hub for it is perfect.
It's absolutely that way. And like one thing I love is like we haven't even seen all the iterations or permutations of all, like, because till this day I'll be hanging out with two artists that I've hung out with and shared the stage multiple times. They're like, y'all have never met each other? No.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like the sounds that they would create, what their work would be like. It's just like there's just so many combinations that are yet to happen. It's just like so vibrant. Just so many possibilities.
Well, I mean, there was a musicians lottery a couple years ago, pre-pandemic.
That was pre-pandemic.
So, I mean,
it honestly feels like a different time. It feels like it happened.
Was
to
it the
another girl.
UTA? The UTA?
No.
It was Daryl and EJ.
Before that, me and EJ from Frio Trio did it at Growl. Someone else is involved, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun, and I'd love to do it again, but it is a lot of work.
Possibly fall.
Possibly
But
someone
what
else.
was the schematics?
Basically, though, like we just were like, hey, who would like to? We're talking about like getting together, like groups of people, like 4 to 5, play 4 or 5 songs, like people you've never met, maybe, like parsing them out and be like, I ended up being in a band with Larry Dunaway, who is part of Larry and Darla, and they play, around here, like mostly folk stuff. Kind of.
They were at the Arlington Night stage at the Westman Arts
And a
Festival.
guy, like a kid that, like, I've never seen Nick since. I've never seen him again. But he played drums in that band, and he was great. And I brought my buddy Frado in, but we had all kinds of people. Like Frio Trio was there. People from Frio Trio were there. Other people were there. Larry Liddell was there. Larry Liddell's band killed it. They ended the show. They started off with this Police cover, and I was like, who's singing? And I was like, this is incredible. But it was fun. It was very fun. I would love to do it again, but I've got 2 kids.
Maybe I'll fill
Although
in.
one of them's about to start driving, so
There we go.
Maybe I'll get a little more
put
time.
the other one under his care. And like, hey, y'all basically take care of each other.
I mean, if he's driving, it's time to start a band. That's massive.
That's true. She could pick up a musical instrument.
No. I gave her a guitar, and we went over it a little bit, and she was like, "No,
Not for me.
Hey, maybe that's just the wrong instrument, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Throw some keys
She could be a drummer.
She's not an
She could be a drummer.
artistic person.
Oh, okay.
She likes to sing, but she's not great at it. But we do sing together.
There we go.
Oh, that's good.
At least you're doing that.
I don't know how we got on that topic.
I love these. Our conversations get tangential.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun, and I would love to do it again. It would be fun. But the thing about Arlington is so many people already, like, I wouldn't say that they do that, but, like, I mean, look at Patrick's community orchestra.
Yeah.
On a regular basis,
so cool.
he's, like, bringing people that don't play together off. I mean, I guess they kind of play together sometimes, but, like, it could be, it's Dakota this time, and then next time it's
Aaron on the bass,
right,
or
exactly.
who's on the bass, or
Which is
Max
so
on the
cool.
bass.
I think Larry Liddell will come in with them sometimes.
Which
so.
I love. I love being able to, like, I love seeing a scene that is, like, Arlington centric, where that is possible. Because I grew up here, and that was not possible
definitely
when I grew up here.
I mean, I hung out with some bands in high school, but yeah, it was.
It wasn't as like.
We had Pantera.
That's true. Band-wise, we have Pantera.
Pantera.
I mean, and then pop-wise, Pentatonic. We've got
But even then,
a
back
couple
then,
country
it was
artists.
literally just Pantera.
Yeah,
It
for
really-
sure.
Yeah.
And we all have. I mean, if you grew up here long enough, you have some kind of Pantera story. Where
You have everyone,
run into him,
right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows. Everyone has a Dimebag Daryl story.
True, yeah. I got one.
I got one.
I have a friend who went to his funeral. That's my Dimebag Daryl story.
Like the funeral or the memorial?
Memorial.
Okay,
yeah.
I was at the memorial too. It was very cold that day.
And now we
night.
have the Patrick Pump Winter Community Orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see it at like not Caves, but at Grease Monkey. They do this all the time because like Ian and Justin both drum for him.
Right.
So like if Ian's there and Justin's there, like Ian will just be like, "Hey, I need a break because this is a 3-hour
Can you
set.
do this?
Can you
Yeah.
just do this jam with him?" And he'll just like hop out, eat a burger, and then Justin will just take over the drums or whoever else.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to see that hodgepodge because now we've all played those songs with him multiple times.
Sure.
So we can just like hop in and do it.
Which I think when we talked to Patrick, he was like, that was one of the things he really liked about it was that it was kind of interchangeable, and he was like, the musicians that I play with are incredible to be able to just do that. Yeah. And he's like, and I love that about the people that I've run into and the scene we're creating here. So
yeah, I'm doing that on the album recording side.
You absolutely are.
Yeah. Right.
I agree completely, 100%. I'll be like, oh, this single came out. There he is.
Somewhere in there.
Silent Album Volume 3 is mad. There's like a bunch of guitarists on there. Bunch of guitarists on there. That one should be fun.
Tell us more about that.
So Silent Album Volume 3, I wanted to bring out most of the guitarists to shine. There's going to be some poetry on it like there was on Silent Album Volume 1 and 2. But this one is mainly to get all those guitarists who I like love their sound and respect how they solo to get in on there.
Right.
So me and Phil, an old friend of mine from a band called Page 9, it's still active. Phil's been like knowing me since my musical journey like barely really started. Phil was like the rock band that I went to see locally.
Okay, gotcha.
It inspired me. It was like, oh, rock bands can do it.
Right.
So me and Phil have always kind of had that connection, but he's always had his band. When I came into my thing, I kind of got busy with my bands. But like every now and then we would always connect because we both love like some rock and some Asian Kung Fu generation. Weird. But we got together finally, and I wanted him for the Silent Album Volume 3. So both of us just laid down like groundwork. Aaron of Melon Soda laid down bass work. And Mackenzie and Trey both did drums. So we have that first layer. Right. And then I was going to call in your Bluesy Maxwell, your Kayla from the Acrylics, your Joe Black from the Window Seat. Larry Liddell has a solo on there. Quinn Reed from Artemis Funk. Man. All of them on multiple tracks. Whew. And then this guy called Yashua, who's a poet, is going to do some poetry on some of those. But the Silent albums are mostly always like instrumentals and then some poetry.
Now, do you perform these live or just straight for album?
That's the hardest thing.
Because getting all these people all together at one time also. Yeah.
Right. So the one that really kind of took the cake of it was the Silent Album Volume 1 band, which was me, Preach, Justin, and Uzo. We've kind of been the group Nameless that's been doing those performances. I would like to get the Silent Album Volume 2 crew that has Trang doing poetry, Patrick on the bass, or Patrick on the saxophone, Marcus on the bass, and like just a different set of Sin. Sin did some poetry on that too. And it's like, but getting everyone together is like weird. But if we ever are in a place and we all have the right pieces in there, we could make that happen.
Interesting.
But it'd be like, it's hard.
Yeah, I imagine, The
recording is mainly like, let's get royalties.
Yeah.
That's really what I set that for. So I try to make sure everyone gets those royalties split.
Yeah.
Do your BMI, your song trust, your sound exchange, all that stuff.
So where can people find Volume 1 and 2, and then when does 3 come out?
Volume 1 and 2 are out on all major streaming platforms. Okay. Pandora, Deezer, Tidal, Apple, Spotify. I went with like least.
You really did? I was like,
all right. YouTube. I don't know, I blanked. But the Silent Album Volume 3, hopefully sometime in fall or before we're really into winter.
Gotcha.
We've got 2 more good studio sessions to do. It's hard to get everybody together.
Sure. Yeah.
It takes time. And then there's like other projects that I'm working on in the middle of that one, and then there's projects inside that one. It's like, why finish a project when you can just start another one?
Multiverse of projects.
Yeah. You're your own Marvel universe.
Yeah. I'm in the DC world now. I started seeing Young Justice. I'm really convinced.
He's obsessed.
I know. I'm not gonna get into it. But I love Young Justice.
We'll ask you afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. We can geek out about it afterwards. So talking about Igimeji, what influences, like what kind of influences do you have, like on what you write and what you play?
Oh gosh, like musical influences,
yeah.
Man. Kurt Cobain from Nirvana for like a long time has been like a huge writing influence. I feel like he always just wrote how he felt, and people always were just like diving deeper and like analyzing like this is just like what he means. And it's like I really always just loved his sense of just like, I'm just gonna make this and it's just gonna be art and it's just gonna be weird and I don't care because that's me too. And, so definitely Kurt Cobain. Writing wise, who else? Gosh, Fiona Apple is a killer writer. Some
SZA maybe.
SZA is a really good writer as well. Vocal style though, SZA has influenced me a lot vocally, so I like to try and take after her runs and things like that. Kaylani, same thing. Her runs and the way she lands on notes, very cool. I try to imitate her a lot. So those have been like my musical influences: Kurt Cobain, Fiona Apple, SZA, Kaylani. I know I'm missing more. Nina
Sure,
Simone.
yeah, absolutely. It's hard to be
Nina
like
Simone, nice.
what, all the people you know and loved throughout your life. Who influences
Right.
you the most?
Right.
It's like, oh man, that question
Yeah.
is like this big.
And then of course you'll
Exactly.
think of more later, and you're like,
I should have said this.
Right when I
Oh,
step out.
man.
For me, it's like I was listening. I was always like into a lot of hip hop and R&B, so it's like it's all swimming in there for me. Anything from like the '70s up until like now, but more recently, like around the time my music was like forming and taking influence, probably a lot of like Linkin Park, some Coldplay.
yeah.
But then whenever he came into like the fray, Kendrick Lamar, absolutely. For
Oh,
me.
for sure.
Childish Gambino for sure with Because the Internet, that album, and then Chance the Rapper with the Coloring Book, and before that Acid Rap. Some of that stuff is just ugh.
Yeah.
But like, I always knew that I couldn't write like those people, so I never tried to really make my stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Only now, more recently, that I'm doing this with intention, can I kind of see what those people did and how I can borrow some elements from that.
Right.
But like, it's just a lot of the old, some of the new, some Earth, Wind and Fire in there for sure. Just for like funky stuff and some James Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, Earth, Wind & Fire came through last year, and I was like, man, I want to go see them so bad.
Apparently, the Parliament Funkadelics and George Clinton came around like not that long ago.
Yeah.
And they're who they brought in was like so wide, so diverse. Was it you or John that was talking to me about that?
It was John.
It was probably John.
It was
John.
The other
Yeah.
John. Yeah.
It's cool to be in that back room too, by the way. That was a nice little back room.
Oh, it is a nice little bathroom. Yeah.
At the Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got two. One of them actually leads to the stage, so I guess you need to just in between sets. Yeah, I didn't realize it till I was like, what does the door do? Oh, I go right to the stage.
The one right in there with the break room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys, what is y'all's favorite shows each you have played together, obviously?
Ooh.
Favorite shows we played together? Ooh, I actually enjoyed the Far Out Lounge when we played. I like any of our sets where we've played as a full band. Those are always my favorite. Because I like Jaylen, our drummer. She's always locked in, and Aaron always carries really well. I get excited trying to figure out what effects he's gonna do with all his pedals. I'm just like, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? Are you gonna do the spacey one? Oh yeah! So that always gets me amped up. But yeah, the Far Out Lounge was cool. Even though it rained really hard that day, just the vibe.
Right, that was another one where it rained really hard, but we still played it. Yeah, we played New York. We played New York
yeah.
once.
That's awesome.
That was last year, not too long ago. Actually, I think sometime in November or something. Some of my favorite shows are really the ones that are more intimate. If you ask me, like I always like when we played the Wine Therapist. The Wine Therapist is like nice just for like sound travel. It's got high ceilings. Whoever's in there can really get a dose of like the little nuances we're doing.
I've heard of that place. Where is that?
It's like off of Skillman. It's like 1909 Skillman.
Gotcha.
Downtown Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
a
cute.
cool spot. We run into the owner like a while ago when I was playing with Famous Exchange, and she kind of picked up our sound and like asked us to play there a couple times. And since then, we've kind of fostered it as our little like Dallas location. We've come out, it's nice.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that place. I just haven't been over there yet.
Yeah. And some of our other like we did Revelers Hall the same way. And I feel like there's one other small intimate place I'm forgetting that's like...
Revelers Hall was nice.
Is this like a stripped down version, just like you two or something?
Right, because the core of Igimeji is like really the duo.
Right.
And then when we came back and kind of started realizing that we wanted to play bigger shows, we got a drummer first, and that was Jaylen. And then when we were like, well, we really need like the bassist if we're going to have the drummer. And then we kind of picked up from there.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the question, what is it like actually being in a band with your partner? Like, when do you turn it off? When do you, like...
Do you ever turn it on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We
Yes.
have
I was say you kind of
to.
have to at that point.
Have
I
to.
agree.
Because it's like opening a business together.
But it would be hard to be like, hey, man, I got this really great idea.
Right.
Oh,
Man, I'm not about that.
Right.
bro.
We're literally watching a movie on the couch. Why?
We're on a date right now. And no, we've definitely squabbled about how things are gonna turn out, because like Ladi will have an idea and he'll bring it to me and I'll look at it and I'll be like,
Maybe do that with one of your other projects.
maybe, right? I always say that. It's like, maybe this will work for like 808 Saints, maybe. I'm gonna
Doesn't work for me, brother.
let me think about it.
Damn.
I'll come back when I have a better idea.
Yes. Yes. Until the moment when we are able to accept such. Yeah. But yeah.
No, we've definitely squabbled about
A little bit.
album cover, music videos, song lyrics, just all kinds of
But
things.
I suppose is that we bend and don't break. Ultimately, I realized, yes, not everything that I have artistically needs to come out through Igimeji. That's why I have these other projects and I can kind of do it that way. So just like be all right with it. I like to move fast and like kind of spitfire. Like I'm like, we're going into the studio today. We're recording those 10 songs today. We're gonna cut those 10 songs today. Kayla likes to take her time with it, and I've kind of grown to learn and appreciate that that's a different way to like process your art.
Yeah,
like sometimes it's cool to just splash on the canvas. Sometimes it's cool to draw a line for 10 minutes and just stare at it. And then understand that like you're building something but slowly. Like, and that's different but actually great too.
Granted, like I have a process because I've been doing this. I've been an artist like my whole life. Like my whole life could literally be explained just art. So like I have a process where it's just like this is how my brain moves in this artistic process, and I actually enjoy the process. Like I like to swim in it and live in it and just be there. Because it's fun making things. It's just really gratifying. But Ladi's it's a very like, we're just like, okay.
It's like karate chop blocks. That's what she sees.
Yeah.
Just
Put
chopping
things
blocks.
out. It's just like, okay.
Do it. Release it now.
I don't get a chance to enjoy the process. That's
If you
fine.
don't release it now,
Sure.
no one will ever hear it.
Yeah.
Just panicking that way. But yeah, we find somewhere in between there. And like we've just kind of learned as we played some more, figured out some more to find balance in between, open up to different styles and stuff. So like, but when in the creative processes, like we do those every now and then, and we'll have a bunch of like started works, and those just kind of like linger, and we kind of come back around to it. So whenever we're at home living together, it's never like a pressure between the two of us to like finish an idea or something. It's like we kind of designate that time. We have shows that we're always practicing towards. Whenever we need to change up a set, we'll be like, yeah, we've played the same set 3 times. We need to change it up, either develop that old one or choose this new cover. So we kind of like, there's enough pace and enough time. And then between me and the other practices and all that stuff too, there's just like enough breath between all of the art creation, between the two of us specifically.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, just kind of get it piece by piece.
Nice.
I liked playing the Deep Ellum Arts Festival.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've done that twice. That's always fun.
I played it a long time ago because I don't play music anymore. But yes, I play. It's never too late. No, I have my guitar set up. I play music, but I don't like go play out. I don't have the time for that right now. But I had my drum set up for a long time. But then I was like one day like coating of dust. I was like, let's set the guitar up instead. Like, let's put the pedal board together. It's a little easier to.
Yeah. Even though I always like most of the time have the drum set up, it's still just another like thing to like play drums and do.
Oh
that.
yeah,
It's
no, I
always,
love
like,
it too. But my cat doesn't really like it. Kind of terrifies him.
Yeah.
And my
true.
kids are always like, "Dude, shut up." Because like when I'm playing, like I'm not like playing a song. I'm like trying to practice fills. And, like I'm
Right.
trying to like get better at drums.
Perfect.
And so it's like, and it's just like you're not even playing
Like
anything.
you gotta come out to the full show to see the effects.
It's technique. My stepdad had the same thing. He's like, you just play the same thing over and over again. It's like, I have to refine the technique in between.
So that way you can play without even looking.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
it's-
because I'm not even a good drummer either. So like I definitely have to like work at it. All right, we have one question that we ask everyone.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite pizza place in Arlington?
In Arlington?
In Arlington.
Actually, old school pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to say, like, in Arlington, old school pizza for sure.
Wait, is old school the one that's like kind of behind that McDonald's? Off
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
It's the old
right
house.
next to it.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Yep.
the one.
I agree. And it's kind of everyone is it's kind of definitely a classic, a go-to
Yeah.
for everyone, and it's good.
And it's very good. It is about to get a lot better too. So
Yeah, we'll
be talking to the owner next
the owner
Thursday.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
Nice.
The old
Wait,
quote unquote the managers.
Is there a stage there or something?
Yeah,
There is outside.
Yeah, outside.
They do little shows outside.
Yeah, especially now with the canopy back.
Nice.
Yeah, because that thing fell and it would be brutal to do shows out there.
Yeah, there was because like it was just like sun.
Yeah.
Nothing but sun. Now it's
sun.
covered again. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a lot
Yay.
easier to do it out there. although it's metal, so it doesn't really sound super great. So you're like, wait a second, where's the sound going? It's verbatim everywhere.
They just need a sound person. It's
true.
I'm really realizing like maybe when we started and when we were doing our things, like we didn't really understand it, but a sound person makes a world of difference.
It really does.
Sure. Really
I
does.
understood that. He didn't understand
Like,
that.
it's like no. But for like the smaller venues where you don't really think that there's much a sound person can do, it's still like when you see what someone is doing with a predetermined like setup and you trust them over like your whatever large size amp because you have to be able to hear yourself. That kind of like mentality in my mind shifted. Because like recently I played a show that we'd already had a sound person, and we played one without sound person, and I was like, oh,
I see.
That's what we pay them for.
Like my mind is like, my mind doesn't think to get too loud. I'm not saying that I could work a sound, but I could like make sure your PAs are pointed such, tell someone to come down, and just trust that the sound will get out there well enough. But somebody doing that for you is like, it's irreplaceable. So
True.
As long as there's someone there working the sound, it'll sound good.
Well, also on the back end of it, the venues need to be promoting that these bands are coming in, so that way people know, oh, cool, I can go check these guys out. The Friday, Saturday,
That's
whatever.
one thing I really wish we saw more often. Some venues and like restaurants do to where it's like in the bathrooms they always have those posters with the upcomings. I'd like to see that just kind of more done for like local arts coming around. But like that collaboration and being on each other's calendars and knowing that is like
venues in general in this area are very weird towards local musicians.
Yeah,
true.
I would agree
without a
with
doubt.
that.
But I do believe the music-friendly community is going to start working with that, and so I can talk to y'all after that.
I really am down for that because I would love to play more in my own backyard.
Yeah.
to drive to Dallas.
Especially there are so many places to do it, and not just like places like Growl or Caves or anything like that. I mean, like there's Troy. Not that necessarily I'm gonna go hang out at Troy's, but people go hang out at Troy's.
Sure.
Like even like Garrett did the thing over by the Dream Sign over there. Just that outdoor area.
UTA has
just pull up at the
stages
lawn.
and places
Absolutely.
we could play
Absolutely.
inside.
There's that one that you can walk to from where we live. That's like right there, kind of tucked. I forget what it is, but it's like they do it. It's like it almost like a mini Levitt Pavilion on its own on campus right there.
Right.
Like I would love to see. I played there once with Tyra and Tierra. We did, and that was the last time I ever like kind of saw music on that stage. And it's like it just sits there. And then there's another one on the corner of Center. It's like outside.
Oh, at that park, right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
It had like flowers and like weeds all over it, but it looks like it's like a standing
could
area,
be like
right?
that, right.
And it's just like sitting there, and I'm like, that would be so dope to just convert it into like a little mini venue.
Well, plans for the future then.
Yeah.
We'll all work on that together.
Love that.
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know enough people. We'd probably be like, "What is that? Let us play music."
We demand that.
Is there an outlet?
That's all we need.
Two? Just one? It's good enough.
We'll
Just
make
one.
it work.
We'll make it
We might
work.
electrocute ourselves, but we'll make it work.
Some power person's nightmare is just seeing like outlet to like six plug, to outlet to six plug, to outlet to six plug. The grounding issues are giving him nightmares in his sleep. He has just flashbacks.
Waking up in a cold sweat. Where'd the seventh plug come from?
They just filled every outlet. Oh my God.
So if people want to find y'all online, watch you live, listen to your music, where can they do all these things?
We've got a website, www.igimeji.com. You can subscribe to our mailing list there. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube.
TikTok, YouTube.
Hey.
Right. We're really trying to get in on all platforms in there. YouTube for the great, like, nice live cover videos.
Yeah.
TikTok for some of the Spitfire stuff.
Yeah, YouTube is just the main one. Really, we're just trying to push that. We're hoping the channel will get a little bit bigger, but we're just kind of like creating our aesthetic around our channel, and then everything else that we said, website.
Sign up on that
media.
mailing list on the website. You can kind of get these little like shows or these little like email blasts that let you know
Where you're
shows
playing
coming
and
up and
stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
What's coming up, down releases and stuff. So.
Very cool. Well,
Well, thank you so much for taking time
Thank
out
you.
of
Thank y'all.
Thank you
band
for having
practice
us.
number 3 to come talk to us.
yeah, good luck on the 5 shows you'll be playing tonight.
And we'll be at one of them.
Yeah.
No. Okay, but thank you so much for coming.
Thank y'all
and
so much.
we'll have you back. We will absolutely have you back.
Appreciate
Hell
that. I would love to be back.
What up? Arlington, Texas. This is our song, Running by Igimeji.
What to say no more about this, baby. No, I don't appreciate the mind games. The way you lead me on it, like the love that you had for me is dating. Baby, that's so the hate. Yeah, don't you know I'm still my favorite? Don't you feel me when I say I get it? My love to you is where you left it. I don't think you hear when I say I just want you near me. And just when I feel like leaving, I think to myself, I keep running back to you. I don't know what to do. I just wish I could love you more. So I keep running back to you just when you think I'm through, so I can love you more. Love you more. Love you more. Love you more. Love you. Love you more. Love you more. Love you more. I don't think you get me quite there, baby. Love is like a roller coaster, baby. It's the ups and downs. I just need space to fry out. It's not a crime to put me over you. I just wish you'd see it too. Oh, but you know that when I see your face, that is one of my all-time favorites. That sentiment is oh so basic. Digging deeper just to isolate this love that we found in the maze. This love that we complicate. This love that we grind through patience. There's a reason why I can't relate, 'cause I keep running back to you. I don't know what to do. I just wish I could love you more. So I keep running back to you just when you think I'm through, so I can love you more. Love you. Love you more. 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 Love you
I am here with the VIP World Heavyweight Champion, the Red River Champion, and the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions. I am here with Shane Taylor. How are you today, sir?
Good, brother. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the intro.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for coming on here. So, obviously we are here to not only talk about you, but Pele Pro Wrestling, July 2nd over at Grace Prep is doing their next event called Judges. I'm very excited about it. This will be technically your third Pele show. How are you enjoying being at Pele Pro right now?
Pele Pro is great. You know, you've got a company, you've got an owner who has a great vision, who's willing to do the work that's necessary to help grow Pele. Obviously, our job as talent is to help facilitate that and put on shows and put on performances that are going to make people's jaws drop and have them bring back even more people each time they come out. You know, for me, it now being my third show, I think I've already set myself apart from almost everybody else on the roster. I've already proven that, you know, the reputation that I've had other places has been well earned, and walking straight into Pele Pro and led to be known exactly why I'm here and what I'm willing to do to get to that top spot. You know, it's really just part of who I am. and now I'm bringing that to Pele Pro and the fans of Pele.
I mean, you kind of carry your own presence as it is. I mean, I remember we just briefly talked about it. I think I remember seeing you first at a VIP show. And then, when I caught you at a couple of Ring of Honor shows, I was super excited. I was like, oh, awesome. This, in my head, this local guy that I saw is wrestling for Ring of Honor now, which, before, I guess, 2020 was, the promotion. It was essentially the second biggest promotion in, America at the time. And, I hope to see what Ring of Honor does in the future. But, seeing you go to that next step, I was like, yes, that is where great wrestlers go. And then, the sky's the limit from there. How did you get into pro wrestling? And what is your earliest memory as a fan?
My earliest memory as a fan is going with my dad to the Richfield Coliseum back in Ridgefield, Ohio. It's torn down now, but then the WWF at the time would come through. My dad, real good friends with a lot of the people who ran the gyms around there. So he would always get to go and work out with these guys. So here I am as a kid watching my dad lift with the Road Warriors and the All Warrior and all these guys. And watching them just do ungodly amounts of weight, which even now, understanding training and lifting and doing all this stuff now is still Jesus, just animals, you know what I mean? Just a completely different breed of human being, and so that was always cool. And then to get to the venue and get to go in the ring and play around with the guys and them just, really respecting my dad, and kind of just showing me that love was super cool. And I think that set the seed early that, that I wanted to do whatever it is that they did. And I remember the match vividly. It was Kerry Von Erich against the Warlord. Now, on paper, it's not going to be a 6-star anything.
Not even the Tokyo Dome. That would be
no, bro. This I don't remember the match being but as a kid, you don't really give a damn about that. All I remember was it went to a double count out. And the place went absolutely bonkers. People started throwing drinks and popcorn and hot dogs down. It was just a madhouse. And I remember looking down at my drink and grabbing it and looking up at my dad real quick to see if he was looking. He was staring right at me don't even think about throwing that shit. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right. But, and me being antagonistic by nature, it's I want to do whatever it is that they do that piss so many people off. You know what I mean? Because that sounds like a good time to me. And yeah, here we are, X amount of years later. And it's been one hell of a ride.
Now, speaking of your dad, I read in an interview that he sat you down one day to tell you that there's no 401k or retirement in some parts of life. What did you learn from him telling you that, and how did you apply it into your wrestling business?
I mean, it's just real stuff. You know what I mean? I was raised, I had to grow up very fast. I was in an environment where you had to understand the world around you and how serious it was and just how quickly things can go left. And you're still surrounded by a loving family, you know what I mean? But these are the variables that you have to deal with. So my morality has always been slightly to the left of most people, just because I've had to experience things and live through things that most people just don't have to live through or experience, right? For example, we could all agree that murder is bad, right? Terrible. If someone walked into your home right now and was going to harm your family, wife, kids, whoever, I'm pretty sure if the choice was them or your family of who would have to go, it's gonna be that person, right? Regardless of the outcome. So we can understand that while some things are bad, some things are necessary, for the survival of you and your family, right? And that's the area of morality that I and so many other people live in. And so I've seen people do a lot of crazy things to feed their families, you know, things that they're not necessarily proud of, but things that they felt that they had to do at the time to accomplish that goal, you know. And yeah, my dad, you know, who's been on, you know, the good and bad side of the law, you know, sat me down and was just like, hey, the way I was going, the things that I was doing, the trajectory that I was on, there is no 401k plan for gangsters. There's not. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't exist. You know, you're gonna, if you make money fast, you're going to lose it faster. Right? And just really imparting that knowledge on me that, you know, there's a different way to do things. There's a better way to do things, and challenging me to do that. And that's the lesson that I've taken into wrestling, because, you know, no matter what form of entertainment it is, whether it be, you know, wrestling, music, movies, especially when it comes to Black culture, when it comes to the portrayal of Black people on TV, in music, and whatever, you get this stereotypical, hyper-criminalized, hyper-sexualized image that people love to market, and they ignore the other 99.9% of what the culture is. They ignore the engineers. They ignore the kingdoms of past, you know, countries and continents. They ignore the fact that, you know, we're teachers and scholars and educators. They ignore the fact we taught Europeans the math and the sciences. Like they ignore all the history and only focus on the bad. You know what I mean? And so then you warp people's minds to think that only the bad qualifies as being a part of this culture, and so on and so on and so forth, right? So for me, it was very important to present another image and stand by that and show my peers, show the older generations, show the newer generations, show kids, hey, there is somebody on like that looks like you on TV that is not doing those things. You have more options, and you can be confident. You can be brash. You can have the utmost confidence in your abilities because you work just as hard, if not harder than your counterparts, to be in this same situation. And if they can be confident, if they can have the depth of character, if they can have all these things, you can have them too. And it shouldn't be a negative that you have it. Right. And so that was really the point of STP. And that's what we believe in. You know, it's about loving yourself, loving your culture, and wanting to be the best, not just for you, but, you know, the best that people can see and try to aspire to be. Now, that doesn't always mean that we're going to be the good guys. Right. But then again, we don't have to be. Right. If Ric Flair can be loved for being the dirtiest player in the game, and Eddie Guerrero can be loved for lying, cheating, and stealing, I don't have to be a, you know, pillar of morality. You know what I mean? Like, whatever I got to do to be successful, I'm going to have to do, right? And that's just what it is, you know? And it's nothing that should be divisive. It's nothing that should be controversial, right? If I said, you know, I was English, it would be, hey, he's proud to be English. If I said, hey, I'm proud to be Canadian or proud to be anything else, you know, nobody would have an issue. So when you're saying, hey, I'm proud to be Black or I'm proud of my culture, this shouldn't be something that people decide. Then this is where controversy or division starts.
I'm glad you brought this up because I did want to touch on this with you because I loved what y'all did with in Ring of Honor with Shane Taylor Promotions about promoting Black wrestlers, Black managers, just, you know, the culture in general. And I know that, you know, every WrestleMania weekend Game Changer Wrestling does for the culture, which I think is absolutely amazing. How do you think, so obviously growing up as a wrestling fan, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of Black wrestlers to look up to. I mean, obviously there was Ron Simmons, there was Doom, there was, you know, it got better as, you know, The Rock came along, and then now we've had, and Booker T, Harlem Heat, we've had far more, black champions than obviously they were in the past. How do you think going forward that we can really just, not just black, but, gay, Hispanic, Asian, like we can just blow all the stereotypes down? Because, at the end of the day, none of us have a choice how we're born, when we're born, in all of that sense. How do you think going forward we can kind of just blow all that out?
Absolutely. And of course you have the nods to some of the greats like Bobo Brazil, and you got Thunderbolt Patterson, Iceman King Parsons, and all these guys. It's education, man. And people get mad at me for saying this, but I'm not incorrect. Like, the more you educate fans and society about these cultures, and you have the performers, you have the platforms to be able to tell stories, to do that, and you can do it in an entertaining way. You have the ability to teach them more about these cultures when you can get more people in the marketing rooms and these executive rooms where people are deciding people's futures. When you get those rooms to also be more diverse, then you're going to be able to start to, break down some of these stereotypes and really start to make progress, right? Because what people don't understand is, in a large portion of the fan base, and a lot of these execs don't get, it's not just about having, and I can only speak from the lens of a black person, but it applies to everybody, right? It's not just that you have a certain amount of us on your roster. It's not just about, well, we gave this person a mid-card championship, or we finally gave this person the main title, so chill. It's not just about the numbers. It's about the storytelling. It's about the depth of character. It's about the effort. It is about the effort that people feel you are putting into that person or that group, right? When you have these talents who come along, how much time do you take to actually get to know the ins and outs of these people, right? Do you know that being black in Houston is different than being black in Brooklyn? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Do you know that, being Haitian versus being Jamaican is not the same thing? Right. You know what I mean? Or being Jamaican and being, Kenyan or is not the same thing.
Or Brazil,
right? Like, right. So it's, what I mean? And then presenting characters that have, again, depth of character, have this whole spectrum of emotion. When you can look at our counterparts and you have someone who is a cerebral assassin like a Triple H, you look to what the counterparts would be, right, in other cultures. And you're looking, and you're looking, and you're looking, you can't really find them, right? So then it's like, okay, we have room to establish who would be our Triple H, right? Who would be our Stone Cold Steve Austin, that bald-headed badass dude who says F the man and F the machine. You know what I mean? And you should be able to have those characters and establish those characters without the backlash coming to them that our counterparts don't get.
Right.
Right. So that's what when we talk about making the sport better, that is what we're referring to. It's not just about the championships. It's not just about the amount on the roster or who's getting TV time. It's not just about that. It's about what you're doing with it and the effort that is, the effort that you are either seen as giving or not giving.
Right. I love that you brought up Iceman King Parsons, because I remember watching him as a kid, because I obviously just grew up with WWF, and then I was flipping through channels one day and I happened to see Dustin Rhodes on WCW, and I was like, what is this? And then obviously back then there was a TV guide. I could look, like, Saturday, blah, blah, blah. Oh, WCW. I didn't know what this is. And then I flipped through channels again and I found Global Championship or Global Wrestling Federation up here. It was took place after World Class kind of ended. And I remember watching Iceman King Parsons. I was like, this dude is awesome. Like, he put his ice pick on someone. He had foam coming out of his mouth. I was hooked from there.
Right.
But you bring these guys up, and Iceman is a great Texas local wrestler. And since, you grew up in Ohio, you moved here to Texas, and you've been a very prominent, obviously you have 2 championships so far here in the state of Texas, and you're probably going to hold more in the future, and you've held more in the past. How do you think the state of wrestling is here in the state of Texas?
I think it's as great as it's ever been. Obviously when you look back through the eras, things were crazy in the 70s and 80s, but I think now in modern times, Texas was booming for a few years there. I want to say probably like 16 to 19, and then it lulled down a bit, but you could credit the pandemic there too. But then I feel like it's right back there now. You've got myself, guys like Mysterious Q, Brian Keith, Izzy James, Ryan Davidson, Edge Stone, Barrett Brown. You've got, hold on, Chandler Hopkins. You've got, you just got so many talented men and women, who are pushing Texas, as far as they can and really putting it on their shoulders and trying to make it that next, breakout hotbed, just like the West Coast is or New England area or even the Midwest, we're trying to establish that too. And I think we're all doing a hell of a job.
Oh, I think so too. Texas wrestling is absolutely incredible. You can, every weekend, there is somewhere in Texas to watch wrestling, and sometime during the week, and I am here for it. I just wish I could had more time to travel more and catch more of it. Obviously with the time of streaming that we're in, I also do wish some of them did a little better job when it comes to putting their work out there. But, night of, you got people on Twitter posting like crazy. The day after, people do a lot better. But, in the future, I do hope to see more people either streaming it, for free live or, more on like Fight TV or Tidal like, Pele Wrestling does, because people need to see this stuff. And, people, especially now, can't get enough pro wrestling. Myself, I've had 3 screens before watching wrestling, and people just can't get enough.
Oh man, and it's such a good time for it too, and everything is of such high quality that it's almost saturated. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, or imagine if you just had just 5-star meals, just every day. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of fans get spoiled, but it's such an awesome time right now. So many people are, there's so many promotions, so many people getting paid, and you really love to see it. You know what I mean? So I just wish nothing but continued success for everybody, and just continuing to see people get opportunities is dope.
Yeah, me too. Now, you've wrestled, you're a former tag team champion with Keith Lee, former ROH 6-man tag team champion, and former Ring of Honor television champion. And obviously, as I mentioned, you are the VIP World Heavyweight champion and Red River champion. So you've been on both sides when it comes to tag teams and wrestling singles. Do you find one better than the other, or do you find that there's greatness in both?
Oh, there's greatness in both. And just to clarify, yes, me and Keith Lee did win the VIP tag team titles, not the ROH tag titles. So before anybody goes into Twitter land starting some bullshit or in the comment section, I already covered it, so relax. There's greatness in both. You know what I mean? Like my whole life, I've played team sports, so I understand the value of individuals coming together for a common goal, and doing that is its own level of greatness. You know what I mean? And then there's something to, again, and I love boxing. There's something to going out by yourself and knowing your career, your path, your future. The results of this endeavor is either going to be won or lost by your own hands, right? And there's something dope about that. You know what I mean? Just to be on that high wire with no net, no safety help. You know what I mean? This is just you. Win, lose, this is on you. And I thrive in those situations. I was asked what my favorite championship that I've won was, whether it was the TV title or the 6-man. And I will say to the end of my life that it's the 6-man titles. Because I had already accomplished gold in ROH. I was only the third African-American male in the 20-year history of the company to win the TV title other than Kenny King and Jay Lethal. So to bring my guys, Khan and Moses, to have them go from guys that were in the dojo that people saw were talented, but they didn't know what to do with them, to bringing them to champions and being the first ever all African-American team to do that. So not only to help them start their legacies, but help them make history. To me, that was the more satisfying championship win. And then to be able to hold those championships for 295 days to really sort of reignite and re-innovate that 6-man tag team division was fun. To be in the ring with some of the very best talents in the world and absolutely steal the show every time we're in the ring. As a lot of people feel as though during that era of no fans and all that, ASTP sort of had ROH on its back, and we were proud to do that. That's the position that we wanted to be in. That's the pressure that we asked for. This is what, we accept everything that comes with that. So, it was dope. And now you've got, Khan in AEW/ROH, this new regime, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of success there. And I get to watch so many good buddies of mine, guys like Swerve, great friends of mine like Keith Lee, homies like Ricky Starks go out there and just crush it every single week. So I'm happy for him. Yeah.
Now, the old question to ask pro wrestlers, obviously, that weren't in WWE is, what is your next step? Is it WWE? Is it, whatever? But with the landscape of wrestling the way it is, do you see yourself having a benefit more of being in a big company that way? Or do you feel it's better to kind of be your own boss and work for all these different companies and make your own schedule?
I think there definitely is something to being my own boss and just understanding that there is a level of power in being able to move freely, and I believe when you can hit as many fan bases as possible, that's always a good thing. There's a lot of matchups out there. There's a lot of competition out there that we would love to be in the ring with, that I would love to be in the ring with. A lot of red tape and politics and bureaucracy in wrestling. So once we get past some of that, then we'll see what then can be done. But I'm excited for the future, man. There's a lot of moments to be made, a lot of money to be made out there.
Yeah. So with Supercard of Honor just happened here in the DFW area this past, April. I remember seeing you at Madison Square Garden for the Super Show with, New Japan. What was it like working in Madison Square Garden?
It was everything you'd think it would be. What I mean? And shouts out to Bully Ray too, because that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him. So I believe I was supposed to be off that show. But he pulled some strings and got some stuff done, and I was able to make my debut at Madison Square Garden because of him. So he's always going to have my appreciation and respect for that. And then once I got out there, I was like, all right, man, this probably be your only time in life to do this, so you better make it count. And just to absolutely go out there and see just a sold out Madison Square Garden and just think of all the incredible athletes that have performed in that building, the history making moments that have happened in those walls, to know that your name is linked to that, is an incredibly dope feeling. And then I made sure to take that kendo stick and try to hit it right out of the park when I hit Flip Gordon in his back. But yeah, it was dope, man. It was dope.
Yeah, I was there live, and I was like, my goal as a wrestling fan was to see, a wrestling event. I mean, I thought it was going to be WWE or WWF in Madison Square Garden. Well, went to the Hall of Fame, when they had it there before, and that was fine, but I didn't get to see live wrestling. So when I got to go there, that was a bucket list moment for me as a fan, because I finally got to see wrestling in the most famous arena in the world that had so many memories tied to it that, I could list them all day and it wouldn't even be enough, because that building has so much history behind it. So,
100%.
Yeah. Now, do you have a favorite personal career moment? Highlight?
Not a favorite personal career moment. Highlight. Yes. Everybody knows, if they follow me at all, I always talk about how influential Ray Rowe is in my career. For people who don't know that name, he is Eric of Viking Raider fame. Trainer, best friend, godfather of my kids, father and husband now himself to Sarah and little homie Cash. He broke his arm a few years ago in a motorcycle accident that should have killed him. But him being the specimen that he is, he survived that. And I remember just training with him 2-3 times a day to get back to where he wanted to be. And I remember he had like a warm-up match, but then like I was his first real match back after that. And we went out there and absolutely had, a barn burner, and it was dope seeing him get back to all those familiar feelings and coming back even better than he was. And so to be on the other side of that, to have him put that trust in me, not only as, as his friend, not only as a colleague, but, as his little brother, as, to have that trust in me to, to be on the other side of that ring, was always dope. And so that's probably one of my best career moments personally, to be able to be there for him for that. And just absolutely go put on a show and give him that spark again to just know that he's put in the work to be healed and be all right. And then he can go on and, absolutely crush the game, which he did.
Yeah. And they continue to do. I mean, I hope nothing but the best, obviously, for those guys. I've been a fan of those guys. I think I saw them at VIP also. And then, obviously Ring of Honor and New Japan, they've just absolutely kept killing it.
Ivar is trash, though, by the way. No, that's my guy. Todd, that's my guy. We just like talking shit. But, yeah, I'm just so proud of both those men. Yeah. Just legendary tag team now. I know he's probably going to be like, man, shut up. But, I mean, they are, I think multiple time WWE tag team champions now, probably I think once on either brand. NXT tag team champions, IWGP tag team champions, ROH tag team champions. They've won multiple overseas titles. I'm sure if they were in any other company, they'd win those titles in short order. So I think when we talk about the, great tag teams of this era, you've obviously got, FTR, you've got the Bucks, you've got the Usos, you've got the New Day, you got the Briscoes, you got the Good Brothers, you know what I mean? But I feel like more people really should be talking about the Viking Raiders in that conversation too.
You're not wrong. And I mean, honestly, I almost kind of feel like WWE doesn't know what to do with them. And obviously changing their names all the time doesn't exactly help things either. But, those dudes are monsters. They've shown that they have a funny side. They show that they have a vicious side. I mean, I believe they've been, handling a little bit of injuries, but then also, the tag team division's been up and down so much since they've been there that, I want them to have titles, and I want them to go on a long reign with them. So.
Oh, I mean, they have the potential to be modern day road warriors of this era, you know, and obviously they're not, you know, it's nowhere near the same look or anything, but they have the ability to just go out there and be badasses and just wreck shop for as long as they, you know, want to, you know, and I really think, you know, they have the passion, the drive, the skill, and the dedication to do that. So I'm here for it, man.
Me too. Now, bringing it back to Pele Pro Wrestling, you will be facing Vinny Pacifico at the next show, which is July 2nd. It's going to be called Judges. Since your surprise appearance in March, you've been putting Pele on notice. What do you think of Vinny, and who do you see yourself facing in the future?
Vinny is a great talent, you know. Let's make no mistake about that. Never am I ever looking past an opponent, because when you look past one, that's when you get caught. And right now, I'm nowhere near being in a position to be caught. But as great as Vinny is, I'm on a different level than Vinny. And I came in to make a statement. Obviously, I wanted to bring in Q to STP. He declined. I had to show him why that was a mistake. And now Vinny, unfortunately, is just going to be the next rung on the ladder for me in climbing towards the Pele Pro Championship. Obviously held by the young gun Chandler Hopkins right now, who's been all around the country doing great stuff. He's made some TV appearances, and all that is great for him. The problem that people have now is that Shane Taylor was gone for a while because I had to do TV, right? And so while I was away, a lot of people, they established themselves and they built these reputations, but now the king is back, and I want my crowns, all of them. You know, I want everything that is coming to me, and I'm here to get it. And me being off of TV now makes me more dangerous because I don't have to worry about anything else, right? I just have to worry about beating their asses and getting the job done. That's all I have to worry about. So that's bad news for everyone who's starting to get buzz and starting to, you know, really blossom out and build their names, because now I'm back. And so, you know, I'm sure it is going to be one hell of a fight, but at the end of the day, Vinny is either going to be welcomed to the land or introduced to Marcus Garvey. Either way, it's 1, 2, 3 for Shane T, still the baddest of all time, and still eyeing down that Pele Pro Championship.
I love it. You know, I can't wait to see you again at July 2nd over at Grace Preparatory Academy for Pele Pro Wrestling's Judges. If people want to follow you online and follow your journey, how can they do so?
Twitter and Instagram at Shane216Taylor. All links to any merchandise will be available there as well. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And really can't wait to introduce people to Pele Pro, introduce, you know, myself to the new fans, and we're really going to have a great time.
We really are. I look forward to seeing you out there, and I look forward to seeing everybody else out there. Shane, thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you July 2nd.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Igimeji and Shane Taylor. Go see Pele Pro Wrestling. Go get your tickets and go. It's really fun. I'm bummed I'm not going to be there. Go see Igimeji if you get the chance. Also, incredible live performance. Just and incredible people.
Yeah, beautiful people all the way around. Shane Taylor is a fantastic human being. And then, you know, thank you also to Shane Taylor. He was in the middle of bath time with his kids when I called him for the interview. So he made it there for bedtime, but he missed bath time, so it's going to be fine. But Igimeji, also 2 fantastic human beings. And again, as you heard in the interview, I felt so bad that they got rained out over at Levitt. They'll more than likely do a makeup show in the fall, so I look forward to seeing that.
Absolutely. While you're out and about doing your things in Arlington, though, remember every first Sunday at 6 p.m., Dr. Jekyll's hosts their Arlington open mic.
And then head over to Dr. Jekyll's again, because every Monday night is their trivia, and that starts at 7 p.m.
Every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to midnight, Blitz Lounge has their karaoke night.
And then every second Tuesday over at Create Arlington, that is their open mic / poetry night.
Every Wednesday at Jambo's, you can catch UTA Jazz from 5:30 to 7:30.
And then head on right over to Division afterwards from 7 to 9. That is their trivia night.
And then One Love Lounge hosts their Artist Love Night, which is their open mic night every Thursday starting at 8 p.m.
And again, this Saturday, head on over to Grace Prep to see Pele Pro Wrestling's judges. You have Shane Taylor's going to be there. You just heard that fantastic interview with him. Chandler Hopkins, the new champion, is going to be there. There's a new belt also, so the new belt. I can't wait to hold that thing. It's going to be a little heavier. It is very pretty. So come out in person, see it live. Chandler Hopkins' first title shot, or not title shot, his first defense as a champion. So come on out.
Against Richard Holiday, right?
Yeah, Richard Holiday. Rarefied air, not purified air, like I said backstage last time. He corrected me.
Yeah, and don't do it again, and he'll correct you again. Very entertaining, though.
Yes.
But while you're out doing that, remember to
make sure to go out and eat local, drink local, and
go rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the Downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.